What's going on, guys? Today I am crafting for profit and I'm hoping you can learn a little bit. I'm going to be specifically crafting Statsticks today. I want to start off by saying that crafting is always a gamble, so keep that in mind, but I've had great luck with this, and I think at the start of a new league, even next league, depending if they change Statsticks, which we'll see, that this can be a super profitable method of crafting. Now, there's two base types that I'm using today, swords and axes. I'm specifically using swords with crit multi implicit, I think, and then axes with the increased physical damage implicit. I think that the best base to craft on for profit sword-wise is an Apex Rapier. It provides you with the 35 multi implicit and has a decent dex requirement, only 176, as opposed to a Thorn Rapier, which is much more expensive, and a Harpy Rapier, which has too high of a dex requirement. This hits the sweet spot, 10 to 20 chaos, low dex, high multi. This is great. Now, if you can't get your hands on an Apex Rapier, maybe it's early league, I would recommend any low dex crit multi implicit swords. So an Estoc, a Wormbone Rapier, Burnished Foil, any of these bases with low dex requirement and a multi implicit will work great. Okay, so now you may be wondering, why are you not crafting on scepters? Why are you not crafting on, a dagger, a claw, whatever? Why specifically swords and axes? That is because swords and axes cannot roll caster mods. They also cannot roll mana as a prefix. This is incredibly important when you're crafting a stat stick. It's going to make the craft 100 times easier and way more profitable. And I don't think many people realize that it's actually super easy to craft these. So today I'm going to be going over 3 crafting techniques that are all profitable. First, fossil crafting, which is the most profitable, and we now know we'll go core with Delve League, so it'll be in the game next league. Secondly, I'm going to be crafting with essences. This is not as profitable, but you can hit some pretty insane swords. You cannot craft axes with essences. There's no mods that we'd want on an essence that we'd want on an axe. And the final crafting technique I'm going to be using is Regaling, the old school technique. It's a little more expensive, but it's very consistent, and it actually can be quite profitable early league, depending on how the masters are going to work in meta crafting next league, because you do need a master meta mod for that. Okay, so let's start with the fossil craft. The 3 fossils that give me the best results consistently are etheric, prismatic, and jagged. This is going to give you the best result, the most return on investment. There is, however, another combo, pristine, bound, and etheric. Now this will not be used for axes at all. This will be used only for swords, and this is for specifically Blade Vortex characters, or, well, any character that takes this node right here, which says increases and reductions to minion damage also affect you. There are some Delve specific mods from these fossils that can give you a foil that is worth significantly more than any foil you could hit with this combo. So this is kind of like the hope you get lucky, this is the consistent money. Okay, so let's load up this resonator and start off with this axe here. Go ahead, pop it in. Already we hit 1 T1 as extra, and pen is super strong. Oh, I forgot to mention, every one of these bases needs to be at least item level 80. 80 is the minimum to hit T1 as extra, although I prefer 83 because 83 gives you T1 penetration. Here we have pen, strength, T2, T2. I'm actually going to set this to the side because it does have pen and it does have strength even though the tiers are low. Let's go ahead and move to the next base. So T1 is extra, strength, but no double, nothing we can really do with that one. Nothing there. It does have the LE damage prefix, which is Delve specific, subterranean, up to 60% increased elemental damage, but the prefixes are full and the suffixes aren't good enough to try to save it. Okay, here we have something that is actually really quite good. It's T1 as extra with 2 suffixes and 2 prefixes, the other prefix being the Delve only mod. So here's something that I'm going to show you a lot when I alt Regal, and it's basically we can force an as extra roll. It does cost 1 exalted orb. It's a suffix, so you craft on cannot roll attack modifiers, and what's going to happen is I'm pretty much guaranteed to slam as extra or plus to level of socketed gems. So chances are I hit as extra, hopefully T1, and I hit T3. So this is still a very good axe, but not quite, the perfect T1, still quite good. Let's move to the next base. Okay, this one has attacks with this weapon penetrate 16% elemental resist, You have to remember that you're not actually attacking with this weapon. It is a stat stick, so that mod is useless. T1 has extra and then good wed, but nothing else is good, so roll over it. Okay, so this is T3, T2, but it has penetration. Penetration is very valuable. Penetration sells for sure, so I'm going to keep that even though it's a little low. Keep that. We are crafting for profit, so we're just going to, you know, craft bulk, take things that are a little bit lower than what you want and just sell them. Nothing on this one. This is T1, T1, and pen. This one is worth a lot of money, so that's a really great one. Those are the 3 mods that are worth the most, and it has an open suffix, so I can craft multi on there. Okay, nothing happening here. Alright, T2, T1 with pen. Again, huge money. That's great. Last base. Okay, so this has a really good prefix set, but I'm actually going to do a little bit of risky annulling on this one, because if I can get off the fire damage, I can exalt the final prefix, but I also need to get off a suffix. Let's just see what we can do here. Hopefully we don't rip off one of those bottom 3 mods. And we did. We ripped off the penetration, so I'm actually going to go ahead, and there is 2 suffixes. If I can rip off the fire here, oops, I'm going to exalt it, which I did not, so now it's totally dead. Okay, there we go. I'm probably going to stop on this one because I do want to craft some of these swords. It's T1, T3, has decent res. Maybe I'll hit it with an annulment orb later, try to take off one of those resists so I can craft multi, but for now, it's an okay stat stick. Let's move into the swords now. There's T2, T1. Oh, these prefixes are actually so good. I did not realize. So it has the 60% increased elemental damage prefix. T1 is extra, T2 is extra, and room for multi. This thing is actually sick. That's going to sell for a lot of currency. Okay, T2, T2 with... Oh, actually that's physical damage. Sorry, I thought that was the delve only prefix. This one is pretty good. I think I'm going to annul it because it's a 50-50 to hit a suffix here, and it's not likely that we kill it. Let's see if I kill it. Hopefully I don't take off one of those as extras. And I did. Of course I did. Annulment luck is gone, especially after last video. Okay, this one's great. So T1, T3, which is unfortunate, but it has T1 pin, and the strength is not the worst. It's kind of useless, but that one will for sure sell. Alright, let's do a few more here. T1 is extra. Again, attacks with this weapon penetrate is no good because we're not actually attacking with this weapon. I could try... No, that's a prefix. I could try to annul off the attacks with this weapon penetrate because it is T1. Let's see if I can get rid of that. I'm going to have to buy more annuls here. Let's see if I can get rid of that attacks with this weapon penetrate. I did not. I got rid of a suffix. So now that there's only one suffix, I'm not going to keep going, because if I do get rid of the penetrate, I could, when I go to exalt it, exalt a suffix, and then that would just be a waste of an exalt. We are, after all, crafting for profit. Okay, so let's move on to these bases here. They're pretty much the same as the Apex Rapiers. 10 less multi, but lower dex requirement. They'll sell just fine. Nothing there. Actually, this one we could exalt a prefix. It is T1, and it has... The problem is the multi is so low. Since we are crafting for profit, I don't know if it's worth exalting the final prefix. Probably. I'll set this one aside. I might exalt the final prefix after I price check using the Katarina cannot roll attack mods. Actually, let's just do it. Whatever. It should still be, if we can hit a decent tier, it should still be profit. So again, blocking attack mods. Now we can only slam as extra or plus to level of gems. Hopefully not plus to level of gems. Let's see what we hit. We hit T3. Unlucky. We actually probably did not make money on that one because we spent 2x on it, but it was a good shot. It does have the good delve prefix, so it was worth a try in my opinion. This one is fantastic. This one's T1, T1. Again, the penetration's no good, but anytime you hit T1, T1, you're making good money. I think it's like 3, 4x. No as extra. So this one's really not that good, but I'm probably going to keep it anyways. It's T2 as extra, T3 as extra, and then penetration. Penetration just sells so well, so I'll just keep it. It's fine to keep things that aren't that great when you are crafting for profit. These bases actually cost me 5 chaos, so anything more than 5 chaos and I'm making money. And final try, we hit nothing. So this one's not crafted. Let's go ahead and transition into the risky crafts. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. Things we're looking for on these foils are minions deal increased damage and damage on full life. Those are the big things we're looking for. Let's see what we can do. Minion damage onslaught, I mean... No, it's not that good, unfortunately. We'll just have to roll over it. For some reason, the minion damage rolls have tiers. They go up to 79%. I think the fossils I bought must be like low level or something, because these are some low tiers right here. Okay, let's see here. So 34 damage. This one has the damage on full life. That's the first time I've seen this. It's from Pristine Fossils. It's great for CI characters because you're always considered on full life. It could be used on other characters as well, but it's really good on CI. Unfortunately, the other suffixes are bricked, and again, the minion damage, we can see if we can annul off a suffix here. We could exalt twice. It has to be accuracy or poison duration. Nope, we ripped off the minion damage, unfortunately, so moving on. Nothing there. This one's pretty good, actually. If we can get rid of that suffix mod, the +2 life gain for each enemy hit by your attacks, this one's actually quite good. Let's see if we can get rid of it. It is a 1 out of 4. We did not. We actually got rid of, what do we get rid of? The aura mod. So you could exalt this twice, but I'm just going to set it aside for now. I don't actually know if it's worth it. Okay, so minion damage pen. We could try to take off this socketed spells. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. I don't know why the minion damage is so low. I think it's something to do with the fossil level. Let's try to rip off that 40% more spell damage. We did not, so it is now dead. I mean, the suffixes are just too bad. Life gain on kill, and then another prefix on there. 80% more. Here we go. Here's a candidate for annuls. If I can hit this, it's going to be actually insane. So we have to get off that prefix, the tier 2 flat fire damage, blasting. Let's see if we can do it. If I can, it's going to be nuts. Let's see if we can do it here. Oh, I did. Okay, this one's great. Now the life gained on kill is pretty bad, but we're going to gamble away. It's going to cost 3 exalts here, and hopefully we can hit the right tiers. So what you're going to do, again, block attack mods, and that life gain on kill is so bad, but it's a fun gamble. Let's go for it. Let's see if we can hit T1 as extra. T2, but not T3, so here we go. T1, T3. Alright, so unfortunately not quite what we were looking for, but that's actually a pretty nice BV stat stick right there. Yeah, that one's, oh man, those tiers are just a bummer, but I'll keep it. I'll take it. So that's just minion damage. Minion damage, this one is actually pretty good. It has multi. The accuracy rating per frenzy charge is kind of useless, but multi and dex is quite good. Let's see if we can get rid of that accuracy rating. Let's take a look here. Nope, we got rid of the dexterity, which is not bad. But do you want accuracy rating on a spellcaster? Not usually, so let's go ahead and roll over that. Minion damage, and that's pretty much it. Okay guys, let's see here. Final 5. Let's see if we can hit anything. Nothing there. Nope. There's good minion damage and damage on full life. This is going to be a lot of annulment orbs, but let's try it. So what we want to rip off on this sword is the prefix 1 to 3 cold damage and the 2 life gained for each enemy hit. We have to rip off those 2 specific ones. This is how you can see this craft is more expensive and not as much profit, but if you can hit it, you know, you make a ton. We ripped off the damage on full life, so instantly dead. Alright, last 2 here. Nothing there. Damage on full life. And the final one, bad minion damage. Okay. Alright, so now let's move into the second type of craft, which is essences. The 3 essences I would recommend for crafting are Shrieking of Woe, Shrieking of Scorn, and Shrieking of Misery. It doesn't have to be Shrieking, that just is basically giving you a free Chaos Orb, and they're fairly cheap. Now, each of these essences gives you a roll that you cannot otherwise get, kind of like a Delve Only mod. So for Shrieking Essence of Woe, that would be spell damage on a sword, Scorn would be crit chance for spells, and Misery would be cast speed. So we're going to go ahead and slam them in here. Again, this might require some annulling, it might require some exalting, but the profit margins are a bit higher. So let's start with Woe, roll over. This one has, let's see here, area damage, 2 suffixes and full prefixes. We could try to annul both of the prefixes off. Let's see. Now let's just roll over it. 2 prefixes on that one as well. This one has good attack speed, good dex. This one's actually really good. If we can annul off the fire damage and either the dexterity or the chance to block, we can exalt it. So let's try to annul off that fire damage. We annulled off the spell damage. Okay, feels good. 10% attack speed, but prefixes are full. This one has pen. Okay, well, unfortunately this one doesn't have another suffix. I could try to clean off those two prefixes, although I might exalt a suffix, but it's probably worth it. Let's just try. This is not profitable. This is for fun here. Let's try to clean off those Ellie rolls. One. Rip. Okay, well, it was a good try. This one has good attack, speed, strength. Now, this one is worth it because there's two suffixes, so we couldn't exalt a suffix. Let's try to clean off. Again, it's going to be kind of hard, but the cold damage and the lightning damage. And we cleaned off the suffix. I think it was attack speed, so rolling over. I mean, this one has dex. If we can rip off the cause bleeding, we can exalt. And we ripped off spell damage. I'm having some great luck right now. This one has area damage, lightning res, so this one would be very good if we can get rid of that cold damage. Hopefully, 1 out of 4. Nope, got rid of the area damage, so it's dead. Okay, onslaught. This one's decent. If we could get rid of the lightning damage, we could craft multi or attack speed. Let's try, just for the sake of it. Spell damage gone. Okay, feels good. After this essence, I'm just going to stop. Yeah, nothing there. We just got very unlucky. Let's move on to the next set of essences. So this one's going to give me cast speed. Cast speed and wed. I don't know about that. Okay, this one is very, very good, but we have to annul it. It has T1 attack speed, and it has accuracy. That's the problem here. So we need to get rid of that accuracy. Let's see what happens. Oh, we did. So this one is very good. I'll show you how we're going to go about this. It's going to cost us 3 exalts, but I think we will still profit as long as we don't get unlucky here. Now, if we hit plus to gems, there is a cold damage rule, so we can't exalt 3 prefixes, only 2. So we really cannot hit plus to level of socketed gems on this one. Let's see what happens. So it's going to cost us 3 exalts to make. Let's see what we hit. First exalt. You've got to be kidding me. Okay, so this is a very unlucky. This doesn't happen often. This is like the worst case scenario. We have to annul now. There's no point in exalting again. You really want 2 as extras. We have to rip off either the cold damage would be best case scenario or the socketed gems. Let's see what happens. Well, we did rip off the socketed gems. Okay. We do exalt again. Hopefully we don't get unlucky again. Okay, there's T1 as extra. 1 more exalt. Another T1. Let's go. T1 as extra. Okay, sorry, I got so excited there. This one is worth a ton of currency. So it's got cast speed suffix, T1 attack speed, and an open suffix for the multi-craft. This one is very, very, very good. That's a great craft right there. Let's move on to Scorn, which is crit chance for spells. I believe that is also a suffix. It is. Okay, so let's keep going here. Nothing there. Prefixes are bad suffixes as well. Decent attack speed on this one, actually. But we'd have to annul it 3 times. Well, 2 times, I guess. Is it worth it? We can try just for the fun of it. Alright, if we can get rid of the stun threshold and then one of the prefixes. One of the prefixes is gone. Now we have to rip off stun threshold. Easy game. Okay. This is, I don't know if this is super profitable at this point, but it's definitely fun. So let's go ahead and craft on cannot roll attack modifiers. And now we get to exalt it 2 times, same as before. And let's see what we can hit. T3 as extra, which is quite bad, but at least it's not gems. And T1 as extra. So there we go. That's an okay craft. I don't know if we're going to get our 3 exalts back, plus the annulment orbs. Maybe if I can sell it for 4x, I basically break even, but decent craft. Okay, this one already has an as extra. It's T2. If we can annul off one of those suffixes that's not crit, it's only going to cost us 2x. Let's see what happens. So poison or chaos res, or poison duration, sorry, or chaos resistance. And we annulled off a prefix, but it wasn't the as extra prefix. So now we still have a shot here. Chaos res or poison duration. We annulled off the spell crit, so it's completely dead. And that's the end of that. Okay, so let's transition into the third and final way to craft these that is still profitable, in my opinion, and that is alt regaling. So the way you're going to do this is you're just going to alt spam until either you hit an as extra like there, or a good suffix, and then you're going to AUG. So in this case, we'll just Regal this. We hit a suffix, but it's only T3 as extra. And what you're looking for is 2 suffixes, like right here, and 1 as extra prefix. This means it's going to cost you 2 exalts to get a nice stat stick, which you can then sell at the beginning of leagues for, let's say, 4 to... I've sold some for all the way up to 10 exalts, and it cost me 2x to make. Now, the one thing to this technique is you need to have the master mod cannot roll attack modifiers, which is currently Katarina. Next league, who knows what it's going to be, but it is a grind usually to get that, so keep that in mind. Here's T1 as extra, so go ahead and AUG, see what suffix you hit. Accuracy, which is no good, but because it's T1, go ahead and Regal anyways. We hit a suffix, but it's bad, so go ahead and scour. Here's probably the best suffix you can possibly hit, T1 pin. We did not hit anything on the AUG, but that is one of the most valuable suffixes you can hit on these swords. This one is actually decent. Socketed movement skills have no mana cost. It's not the best, but it is usable. We did hit as extra on the AUG, so now go ahead and Regal. We hit Fire Rays. So this one would be an okay candidate, at least early league, 2 exalts. It cost you 2 exalts to make. But because Fire Res and Socketed movement skills is not the best suffixes, and it's T2 as extra, I'm actually going to just scour this one and look for something better. Okay, so T1 is extra and a very bad suffix, although since it is T1 is extra, you might as well Regal. It's so cheap to hit it with a Regal, so you might as well do it. We hit Strength, which is decent, but now we're going to scour. If that mana was something else, we could then block attack mods and Exalt, but it's mana gained on kill. That's not very good, so scour it down. Always worth a shot, though. Okay, T1 is extra with a really bad suffix. Let's see what we hit here. We hit Pen, so this is actually, I'm actually going to go ahead and Exalt this because penetration is so valuable. Unfortunately, the other suffix is actually trash, but if we can hit another T1, we will profit, even though it's only going to maybe be a couple of Exalts, it's still profit. So we're going to go ahead and craft on this Katarina mod, soon to be who knows. There we go, and now we can only Exalt a prefix, and it's going to be either plus gems or as extra. Let's see what we hit. We hit T1, so that's very good profit. So there we go. That's probably worth 4 to 5 Exalts. We spent 2, not bad. Let's move on to the axe. Okay, this mod is actually insane. This is an axe only mod as well, and it's a global mod, meaning it doesn't have to be in your main hand, but it's a % chance to gain an endurance charge on critical strike. It's actually extremely strong. It allows you to keep endurance charges at max almost all the time. And yeah, let's see what we hit on the AUG. Unfortunately, nothing, but I'm actually going to Regal it just to see what we hit. We hit a bad suffix, but yeah, that mod's actually one of the best mods you can get on these axes. Okay, so T1 as extra, decent multi, T4, let's hit it. We hit damage with bleeding, which is a suffix, but we're not really looking to scale bleed damage with these stat sticks, so I'm going to go ahead and scour it down close, but not quite on this one. T1 is extra, 40 strength, that's pretty good. Let's hit a good suffix here. We hit block. Okay, I'm just going to stop now because I've been going at this axe for a while. This is not the best. If we can hit T1 as extra, I'll profit. It's going to be 2x to craft it. Hopefully I don't hit something garbage. So again, cannot roll attack modifiers, and hopefully I hit at least T2 here. Here we go. T1. Alright, that should be profit then. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up this crafting session. I think I made quite a bit of profit, made some good money in this session. I think it's safe to say that the original combo, the Jagged, Prismatic, and Etheric Fossil combo is unbeatable when it comes to the amount of money you can make, but the other techniques were still pretty solid, and overall I'd say they were still profitable. Looking forward, I'll definitely have to do some more crafting for profit videos and just some random other fossil crafting. Now that we know that fossil crafting and beast crafting is going core, things are going to get really exciting in the next 3 months. So I'm looking forward to that, looking forward to see everybody else's crafts as well. It's going to be great, but enough rambling on. Thanks for watching this, guys. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.